Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. What does it take to get to 100% through TDIU? And does it make sense for you? Well, that's the question. And that's what we're going to dive into here to share this information with you. And also, is there an age limit? That's important to know. So let's jump into it here. Before we do, though, I want to throw on a very special thank you to Vincent Snow 8436. Thank you so much for that super comment, super chat. I really do appreciate your support very much. Thanks again, Vincent Snow. All right, so jumping into this, individual unemployability or TDIU or IU, you're going to hear it all kinds of different ways. But the full name is TDIU, which is Total Disability Individual Unemployability. Whew, that's a mouthful. So let's get the first thing out there. Is there an age requirement? No. What does TDIU do for you? It is a bump, an automatic bump from as low as 60% in most cases. There is maybe a workaround there where you can get into it at a lower percentage, but for most folks, you're going to fall between a 60 to a 90% current rating, and it's an automatic bump to 100% payment. That's substantial. 100% from a 70%, for example, is over double. So you're over a $2,000 bump in pay essentially overnight, right? I mean, you got to apply and go through the process, but it's a bump quickly. Is it right for you? Well, everybody's situation's different, and let's talk about that. So jumping into it here, I'm going to go through kind of the eligibility, what it looks like, what you can do, what you can't do, why this is, I think, a valid avenue for some to get to the 100% rating, especially, as we get older, right? Now, here's one of the things I'm going to throw out there, because I think that veterans, we tend to self-segregate out of benefits for whatever reason. So let's frame it up this way for a minute. If VA disability compensation is supposed to bridge the gap between your earning capacity current with disabilities to where you could have been, right? That's what it's kind of supposed to do. It is supposed to essentially compensate you for the loss in earning capacity due to your service-connected conditions. That's what disability compensation is for. Now, my view on that is that I think a lot of people, congressional members, advocates, veterans, I think that most people view that as how much you're earning this year, how much you earned last year, how much you're going to earn next year. But the reality is that your earning capacity is not just how much you're earning last year, this year, next year. It's also how long can you keep earning. I believe, and I don't have any data to back this up, but I would believe that our earning capacity is shortened in longevity versus our civilian counterparts. With that being said, TDIU is definitely an option for folks that get to the point where, like, look, I just can't do this anymore. My body, even Stan agrees. For those that don't know, Stan's my rooster. He was an accident. I didn't mean to have Stan in the picture. Here he is. So he likes to stand right out there and do that. I don't know if it's because he knows I'm in here or what, but let's move on. Anyway, so with that being said, keep that in your mind, right? That TDIU is not like some sort of you're skirting the system or anything like that. There's validity behind the idea that eventually you're going to get to a point to where you can't continue to work, and don't feel guilty for going, hey, I'm going to, now that I can't really work, I'm going to look at TDIU. All right. So let's jump into it. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. Every thumbs up, every minute watched really does help the channel. And my goodness, Stan is on one. All right. Individual unemployability. If you can't work because of a disability related to your service in the military, that is the key first little tidbit here, if you will, or nugget in this, is that you can't say that your disability that's not service connected is causing your inability to work. It has to be a service connected condition that is getting in the way of you holding gainful employment, right? So if you do, you may qualify for individual unemployability. This means you may be able to get disability compensation or benefits at the same level as a veteran who has a 100% disability rating. Keep going on here, hanging on with me to know more. All right. So how do you find out if you're eligible? What needs to happen? Well, there's a couple different things. All right. Number one, you essentially have to demonstrate to the VA that you cannot hold a steady job that supports you financially, known as substantially gainful employment, because of your service-connected disability. Now, there's a caveat. Odd jobs and marginal employment don't count. Typically, they're going to want to see that below the federal poverty level, whatever that is for your specific situation. Make sure that you don't earn too much money if you are on TDIU, but a little here, a little there. You decided to paint on the side, painting pictures, and you're selling them at the farmer's market, whatever. There you go, right? All right, so moving on. One of these must be true for you in order to apply for TDIU, okay? You either have one rating that is at least 60%, so one rating at 60%, and that opens up the doorway for you to apply for TDIU. Now, the other most common way, because let's be honest, it's hard to get over 50% for most conditions, so many people don't hit that one rating of 60%. There's another doorway. The other doorway is you have at least one rating that is at a 40%. One rating that's a 40% rating or higher, could be a 50, right? So a 40% or higher rating, and you have a combined rating of 70%. If you have either one of those, so either a 60% rating by itself or a 40% rating with a combined rating of 70%, you are now eligible to apply for TDIU and see if you can get that approved for you. Very important. Now, in certain cases, for example, if you need to be in the hospital often, you may be able to qualify at a lower disability rating. All right. Let's say, and that's one example, right? So another example might be maybe you have just tremendously horrific migraines that are super frequent and documented, and you can't hold down a job because of that. Well, part of getting the rating of 50% for migraines is in an economic instability, which would then refer to basically, look, you can't really hold a job. So if you can prove that, you might be able to get a foot in the door for TDIU, total disability individual unemployability, which again is a mouthful for folks, but it is what it is. So let's move on. There's some question answers here, and I'm going to share these with you as well because these are kind of the some typical question answers. So if I am eligible for individual unemployability, will my disability rating change? No, it will not change. If you're eligible for individual unemployability, the amount of your monthly compensation payment will change, right? You'll be paid out at the 100%. If you're married with a spouse, I guess that's the same thing. If you're married, you have a spouse, then you would be over $4,000 at the 100% payment. But your disability rating will stay the same. So if you're 60%, you have one rating at 60%, you're still 60%, but you're paid out at the 100%. Or maybe you're 70%, you're paid out at 100. All right, what's an example of individual unemployability? A veteran has a service-connected heart condition and a 60% disability rating for that heart condition. The veteran was still able to work until last year when the doctor, or when chest pain started happening, doing anything physical like walking or lifting boxes. The doctor said, you're going to need to retire as soon as possible. So veteran files a claim for more disability compensation with regard to TDIU. The VA receives the information and reviews the work and education history and then agrees that, yep, this veteran is not able to continue gainful employment and now is individually unemployable because of the service-connected disability. So the VA will increase the disability compensation to the same rate as a 100% disabled veteran, which is outstanding. Again, is there an age limit? No, right? I actually worked with a veteran who was in his mid-70s and finally filed for a claim. Vietnam veteran finally filed first claim with the VA for disability compensation, got awarded out the gate for, I think, 80%. Then we turned around and filed for individual unemployability, and it was awarded, and then he's paid out at 100%. So he wasn't able to go work, so why wouldn't he apply for TDIU, right? Circumstances and situations are going to really play a key factor into your decision on going TDIU. All right, what evidence do you need to submit? Well, you'll have to provide evidence, which would be supporting documents like doctor's reports, medical tests, showing that your disability prevents you from holding down a steady job. They'll review that, your work and education history, and determine whether TDIU would be applicable for you. All right, so with that, thanks so much for watching. I truly appreciate every single one of you. Have a great one, and remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.